How's that going? You started pitching conferences?
Yes, I'm looking for the DMV area, so Maryland, DC, and Virginia. We don't have that much, but I'm talking with someone who might be close by to my area. I don't want to travel. I can't travel right now a lot because I have a new project at my day job, so I
Okay.
have some limitation, plus some constraint about the speaking business I do. I cannot advertise a lot in LinkedIn because I'm a union, so I have to keep it only on my Instagram. So I'm not in so many social media, just the Instagram for my business, and my LinkedIn has to be merely about engineering.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Have
understand.
you been doing outreach to the associations?
Are you asking me, Ron?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I know some of them. I've been part of those when I was still in school. So the tech, like the women in technology. So I've been mentored with them for almost 6 years. I think I quit that platform 2 years ago. So I'm aware of some of them and the association. Yeah, I've been I've been pitching some. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are there'll be more of those in DC than anything. And the great thing about the associations is that they meet monthly. So um, you can do the monthly meetings to start um, getting established there, and then usually for their annual conferences, those are usually recommendations that come from their local, like their monthly meetings. So let me give you an example. If I say, for instance, for the Illinois Department of, no, the Illinois Independent Insurance Agent Association, right, for insurance agents, they do a monthly meeting, whether it's a Zoom or something like that, right? So what I found is that if you end up getting on the agenda for the monthly meetings, you have a higher opportunity chance of getting on the state conference that they do, right? And if you aren't that popular just yet, but you've done the state conference, and it was a really good review on your breakout or whatever you did at the state conference, then the independent insurance associations, they have a national conference, right? So it's really this stair step approach that can be taken. Some people can skip that if you're famous or you have an industry changing framework or something like that. But one of the easiest ways is to work your way up through that system of local association to state association to national association. And while you're doing that, if you have consulting or some other types of training, you're also getting clients out of that audience to bring you in, right? So I still remember when I worked with a company called Systematic Revenue. And it was one of my first consulting clients when I first left Farmers Insurance back in 2012. And they introduced this thing called marketing automation, it was like simple marketing automation where you could, if someone opens the email, send them this. They click a link, send them this, right? And at the time, insurance agents weren't even collecting their customers' email addresses. Let me say that again. Just 12 years ago, insurance agencies had your phone number, your address, but an email address wasn't even required because you couldn't even do online payments at the time. Like you couldn't even pay for like State Farm or anything like that. You had to go to the office and take payments. Now, how do I know? Because I had 9 Allstate agencies that I was responsible for. So when I was working with Systematic Revenue, I did a monthly meeting with the Illinois Association, right? And then by me doing that, other insurance agents who heard me on that meeting became my clients. They started using Systematic Revenue software. So within the first couple months, we had 100 insurance agents using it because I did that local association thing. And they were like, man, you got to wait for me to follow up with people that didn't buy the first time. I want that. So don't discount the local associations as a way. The biggest issue with most speakers, why they stop being speakers, is because they're not making any money, right? But the reason why they're not making any money is because they're not making any products. So if your only product is your voice, it's hard to survive in the business. And I'm not talking to Saran, I'm talking to everybody, right? The average speaker does 5 gigs a year. The average speaking fee is $3,000. I don't care what your coach told you. I don't care what he's getting paid. He's been doing it for 13 years. That's how he gets paid 25 grand, right? But somebody who's just starting off, they got to tell you you're going to make 15 grand from your story because they want you to pay them 10 grand for their course. So they sell this dream that is really not a reality when it comes to overall the speaking industry, right? The business has changed, right? And I know this because I'm in it. Here's what we know. You ever heard of Airbnb? Everybody's heard of Airbnb. Airbnb, who did they hurt when they became popular? John, go ahead.
Hotels thing that came up.
Hotels, right? So hotels lost a lot of their individual customers. But what's the one customer that they didn't lose? Can you hold a 5,000 person conference at an Airbnb? You can't, right? So the hotel said, wait, these regular people that's coming individually, Airbnb is taking them, but these conferences, we need to make our money from conferences. So all of a sudden you saw more conferences being hosted at the hotels, right? Ange and I and Ann, all of us, we were at a conference in Colorado, in Denver, Colorado in August, right? The ticket to the conference was $2,400. The hotel room per night at the place where the conference was held was $400 a night. So, and it was a 6-day conference. So just to show up, you were already out of $5 grand in hotels for 6 days at $400 plus $2,200 for the ticket. Does that make sense? I hadn't even flown there yet. And then I didn't just go by myself. I brought Ange and I brought 3 other people. I'm like, holy crap, I'm out of 20 grand and I just got here. Right? So Airbnb killed the hotel, but the hotel found a new profit center in the conference. Does that make sense? So where do you think the conference is finding their money? $2,200 is a lot to pay for a conference for a regular ticket. So where are the conferences making their money from? They monetize the stage, right? I was looking through the agenda. 50% of the speeches or the sessions at that conference were sponsored, meaning that the sponsor got to present. We had one of them. So the stages are being sold, guys. Nobody wants to tell you that. The marketers are becoming speakers. I'm trying to help you speakers become better marketers. Right? It's just the reality of where the business is going. Marketers are coming in and buying the stages. And it's really hard to compete with somebody who's willing to give $10,000 for your time when you're asking for $10,000 to show up. I know this is what people want to hear, but I just got to tell you the truth. We're going to tell you the real industry facts here. Right? So if you want to do more gigs, shift who pays you. Let me say it again. If you want to get more gigs, shift who pays you. You can keep trying to get paid from the event planner, which is great. I think you should if you can. But if you can't, learn how to get the money out of the audience. Shift who pays you. The podcast host isn't going to pay you. So you need to know how to sell your books and stuff to the audience that's listening. The conference person is getting their behinds kicked by Hilton, Gaylord, and all the rest of these hotels with conference centers. They charging you $30 a day to use a 6-stick plug that you can buy for $8 at Walmart. So they got to pay $30 every day for each charger outlet. A bucket of coffee is $400. This is the real economics of these things. So if we look at all the big conferences, I can tell you, one of my buddies put on a conference called Path to Prosperity. Their first year, it was huge. TD Jakes, Grant Cardone, all of these folks. 5,000 people went to this conference. Second year, 300 people. No big names. Why? Because they got their behinds handed to them. Right? Another guy did a big conference called Recession Proof. All of these big names. Next year, 1/10 of the size because they got ate up by the hotel. So the speaking stage has become a profit center to the conference folks. I talked to the guy who did Podcast Summit, David Shands. We had a conversation about me buying a stage at Podcast Summit. Had all these famous podcasters. I'm like, yo, how much you paying the speakers? He was like, I can't tell you what he said, but they didn't get paid as much as they say they get paid because he has to run the conference. But you know what they were willing to do? Share revenue for that stage, pay for that marketing time. So we as speakers have to become better marketers of our products if we want to use the stage to sell them. I'm not saying that you can't make a career as a full-time speaker. There are people that do that. But I care about speakers making money. And the fastest way to make money as a speaker is to not only get paid the fee, but to also have a product or service to sell. Is that fair? I just want to reiterate that you can get paid a fee to show up, but it's also good to have an alternative because that's where the industry is going, right? So going to those associations is a great way to practice. How do you close from the stage? How do you sell from the stage? How do you present your stuff in a way that make people in the audience want to meet you at the back of the room to set up a meeting to meet with you? Right? That's how you get better at it, by doing those things. And the conferences that I'm talking about are the larger conferences. These aren't the little small ones. Shanna, good to see you. I don't know if we've met you before, but good to see you here. If you want to introduce yourself, I'm Ron Story, the head of product at SpeakerHub. We're joined here every day at 12 o'clock. Every once in a while, I go on these little rants because I hate speakers being in a situation where they're not making money and they end up getting out of the business. Not that their message wasn't right. It was that their monetization of that message wasn't put into place. Does that make sense? So Shanna, if you want to introduce yourself, that would be great.
Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Shanna Kennedy. No, do not excuse yourself for your rant. It was very insightful because I do, for my job, hire folks, and what you were saying is very much true. Those hotels are very expensive. I'm doing one in about 3 weeks at the Four Seasons in California, and it's expensive. We did one at Nobu. Those bottled waters you see are typically, I think we were paying $25 a pop for those things. And when you watch people grab those, all you're doing is calculating the money that's going. But I am look, I'm like, don't grab any more of these water bottles.
Yeah, the Voss water bottles with the silver caps.
Yes,
those things are
the
super duper
metal
expensive.
bottles, yes. And so we were like, this is $500 just gone in one day. But I am the owner and creator of Kennedy & Co. Leadership. So I do executive coaching for senior execs. My main focus is individuals that are pretty much trying to figure out what is their next. So if you are a leader, a executive, and you're trying to figure out like, how do I lead my authentic self, especially now with everything changing? How do I lead my team? How do I navigate the world that we're having? That's kind of like where I come in to just coach you through and try to get you to your next level, either professionally or personally.
No, that's incredible. And how do you find your speaking gigs now? Or are you just an organizer right now?
Right now, this is where I want to dive a little bit more into speaking. I kind of work with my senior execs and kind of work with their organizations and kind of deal with whatever they have going on. So I kind of facilitate different things. Here, I'm in South Carolina, so I work with a lot of our leader fellowship programs. So if you're familiar with like your chamber, they have different leadership programs. So they're always looking for facilitators. So that's how I kind of do things locally.
No, that makes sense. And I mean, that's like right on you, because that's what we're talking about, the local, going to the local chamber, becoming a facilitator, you know, from being a facilitator at one of their monthly events or being an instructor or a presenter, you end up getting clients out of the audience. That the revenue from those clients builds your confidence, but they also give you testimonials. They give you logos for your website. They give you the revenue you need so you can stay in this business. This business is hard, right? It is a really hard business because this place called YouTube made information free, right? Stephen Covey was really popular because I didn't have a YouTube video I could go watch of all of his competitors, right? So if you didn't get published by a big book publishing company years ago, your book didn't make it into Barnes and Nobles and Borders and these big bookstores. But now everybody can publish a book tomorrow, which means that the value of books have gone down. People don't sell as many books as they used to. Used to be a big deal to be a New York Times bestseller or a Wall Street Journal bestseller. Why? Because they counted up all the books you sold in a month, and they said these are the top 10 books for this month. Now with Amazon, your Amazon bestseller. People sold 10 books and they're Amazon bestseller, right? Why? Because Amazon calculates sales every hour. So you don't even need to sell a lot of books. You just got to sell enough books in an hour to get that Amazon bestseller thing. There's even a calculator that will teach you how to tell you how many you need. Now, people hate that I show this stuff. Kindlepreneur bestseller calculator, right? So they come in and it kind of reveals the whole thing. How many books do I need to sell on Amazon in an hour to become a bestseller? We know all the tricks, guys. That's why I talk about it, because I know people be lying to y'all, right? And I'm not pooping on anybody who's an Amazon bestseller, but I know it only took 15 books to get that badge. That's why the person who ran the campaign for you didn't tell you how many you actually sold, right? So you can use this to go in and see. But what we want to do is to say, okay, now that we know what how the donuts are made, how do we make some money from it? Do you see what I mean? Like the vanity metrics don't matter. It's the bread. Are you getting freaking paid? I did a TEDx talk. Okay. Have you done any talks afterwards? No. So you haven't made any money as a speaker. You've done a TEDx talk, but you haven't been on more stages. We will help you to make money as a speaker. Because you can't stay in the business without money. You're a nonprofit. Nobody wants to say that. After they get your money for the course, they leave. We're going to help you to actually make some money as a speaker. So here's how we do it. We do it through the flywheel. Get on podcast. Learn to present your things through podcast. Tighten up your message. Take that message to the local associations. Learn to present your products and services to small groups. Find out if people are falling asleep when you're presenting your stuff. Learn to read the room. Take that to a bigger stage. Those larger stages are 6 to 9 months out. But you got to eat along the way. If you're doing all three of those at the same time, you never lose the momentum. Because once those conferences start coming in, you'll still have your association gigs and you'll still have your podcast. That's when you're a full-time speaker. You're a full-time speaker when you're doing a podcast a day, association a week, and a conference a month. That's how they end up with 60 gigs. Tell you a funny story really quickly, and then we'll get into more questions and comments, right? When I was a financial advisor at Northwestern Mutual, Phil Sarnecki, we would have to go up on the board every day and write up our numbers. How many phone calls we made, how many people we talked to, how many meetings we had, how many people we asked to buy, how many referrals. It was just these little boxes, and you couldn't write anything in but a number. And one day I asked him, I said, dude, why are these boxes so small? He said, we make the boxes so small because we don't want to hear your excuses. Just put the numbers up. The numbers will tell us everything we need to know. So Ron, you need to have 20 appointments a day. You need to make, 20 appointments a week. You need to have this many phone calls a day. When you come up and you put up your numbers, I know whether you're working full-time in this business or part-time. The numbers tell the story. That's why we have a leaderboard, so I can see. I can see. You can tell me your goal is this, but I can see you sent 13 pitches in the last 3 months. I don't believe you. I won't mention it publicly. I just look at it on the backside, say, how do I coach this person? Why? Because y'all hold us accountable. When the software got a bug, that thing don't do nothing. Cool, we'll fix it. So we hold you accountable. When your butt ain't getting on stage, don't come over and complain about the software. Use it first. We've been getting people booked with the same software for 6 years with all the bugs, despite of the bugs. So just keep going. We're going to help you to make some money, right? So Kathleen, nice to see you. You want to introduce yourself? I'm Ron. I help people to get booked on stages. Everyone here is one of our clients. So we would love to welcome you in.
Hi, Ron. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm actually at work, so I can't be very loud or very long. I have been very curious for a while about this. It looks so exciting. But when I get an opportunity, I will be able to interact more clearly on the next call. Hopefully I can join. But I'm so glad to be here. And y'all look just lovely. And I love everything that I'm here. I'm pumped.
Cool. Well, no, welcome aboard. We're one big family here, where we have to get our positive messages out there. So Kathleen, if you want to set up a private call with me, Andrew will give you my calendar link, because every day we're here from 12 to 1. But if you want to meet outside of here to talk about how we can help you to get on more stages, Andrew will give you my link. Hop in. I will help you. Right?
Great,
That's
I appreciate that. Yep.
Yep. So any other questions, guys? Do you understand the mission of SpeakerHub, which is to get you on more stages and to get you paid from those stages, right? Showing you what we already know and what we've already lived. We talk about showing your work, right? Ask other folks who are giving you advice to show you the proof. Say, Ron showed me this. You show me yours. Ron told me this was that. He showed me where he did this. You show me where you did it or who you've helped to do it. It's the only way you're going to win is to find people who've actually been down the street, right? So any questions or comments? I see some things in the chat. I don't know what's in there.
Hey, Ron, I got a quick question for you.
Is that Carter's? I can't.
Yep, this is
Okay, all right.
Carter's.
You was kind of off of my screen a little bit. I see.
Oh,
Go ahead.
yeah. You find out who your real friends are. No, but yeah. So I have a question. So since books aren't the #1 seller, they could be a supplemental seller, but should we be looking at the ebook situation or forward them to a training course? Like, so that's where I'm thinking I'm going to focus my major time in ebooks and training courses that get trickle fed so they can sign up for this training on executive leadership, and these are the steps to be a highly effective leader and making your speaking engagements more concise and all these different things, and like build out those modules and kind of like sell it that way? Or should it be more of like something else I'm not even thinking of, I guess?
Okay, so I think you asked a really good question about books, right? But I want to go a little bit further back to show you where the book fits in. Does that make sense? So let's think about music. If you're an independent artist, right, and you don't have Def Jam or Motown or Universal Records behind you that gave you an advance, in exchange for their ownership of your book that they're going to distribute and put marketing dollars behind, how do you get exposure as an independent artist? Because that's what happens with books. You sign with Penguin Publisher or Random House, and they give you an advance. They give you enough money to survive while you're writing the book. But then they own it, and they give you 10% royalties on every book that's sold. But they own that product, so they're going to put it in their distribution channels, right? They're going to put it in Barnes and Noble and all these other places where people can come get it. They're going to email it out. They're going to do everything they can. They're going to put it in New York, Times Square. They're going to do all the marketing. Why? Because they own 90% of the royalties, right? Here's the key question. Do you think Def Jam Records invest money in marketing Jay-Z and Rihanna and Kanye West?
Yep.
Do you think when Tim Ferriss writes a book and they give him a $300,000 advance on that book, do you think Random House is going to do some marketing behind that book?
Yep.
Okay. They pay for it with money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Independent artists that are on SoundCloud, do you think they got the same money that the other folks do?
Not at all.
No. So they have to use a different model.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the SoundCloud rappers do? They drop albums all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Lethea says she wrote 14 books or something yesterday. They're all self-published. She's dropping books all the time because the book now becomes a lead magnet, just like the free rap music on SoundCloud becomes, hey, if I get enough people to follow me on SoundCloud, I can do a concert. You see, they're not trying to get paid off the CDs anymore. They moved to where the money comes from. Does that make sense?
So you're saying volume rather than like
no. Where are you gonna make the money?
Okay.
Change who pays you. Let me show you.
Okay.
Let me give you a great example. Let me share my screen here. I'm gonna use a book I just bought. And this is a great question. Like this is, man, super duper valuable. I just bought this book called The Software Book from a guy named Dan Martell, right? And he tells you right up here, it's a #1 Amazon bestseller. So I could go buy it from Amazon. And he tells you right here, hey, this book gonna be $24 if you go over to Amazon. But if you just put in your information here and buy it from me, cover the $5 shipping, and I'll send it to you for free. Now, why is he saying that? Because over on Amazon, you think Amazon gonna give him my contact information, Carter's? No. But if he gets my contact information, you think he can follow up with me to sell me some coaching and something else?
Yeah. So I guess, okay, so instead of having a hardback book, can we do that same information like an ebook? So like we share
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
Right? So, but we got to change where we make the money.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So even if you sold your book for $3 and it was a PDF, you may say, hey, get the audio book for $20. Click the button here, add the audio book, right? Because that's what he's doing. After I signed up for this, he asked me, hey, man, you want to get the audio version of my class for $197? And they've been emailing me ever since. But if it was on Amazon, he got none of that. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? You know how hard it would be for him to get $199 from me on Amazon? But because I'm in his funnel, he gave me a whole nother set of videos. Watch this. I'm gonna show you how this thing, man. Look, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I live this thing, right? Let's go to site.software.com. It's gonna show me every page he has on this website in that funnel, right? So look at this. On his #2, look at all these things. Look, he upselling me all day. All of these are the upsell pages. Didn't I tell you he was going to try to sell me something for $199? I can see the whole funnel. Mm-hmm. Soon as I got to, hey, want to know the secret to closing deals? Get the playbook. After I put that $7 in, he offered me something for $1.99.
Yeah.
Do that in Kindle. I guarantee you can't do this in Kindle. Is this making sense?
Oh, it's making complete sense. It's what I'm fighting with now is.
But wait a minute, hold on 1 second. But guess what he did? After that, guess what he said? Hey, you didn't want that 197 thing? Here's another 197 thing with a longer page, selling the same thing again. Right? I mean, this is the entire funnel right here. If you ever want to see every page on a website, type site : and then the web address, and it will give you the whole funnel that they're bringing you through. So you can see all the pages, all the upsells. This is called funnel hacking for those who don't understand it, right? But you can see, look what he's doing. He said, well, you want the membership? Come join our membership at SaaS Academy. Log in and we'll give you a whole course on this thing. Here's the bonus from chapter 2. We're going to teach you a little course about how to do leverage. Look, they're upselling like you wouldn't believe, but you can't do it from Amazon. This is a whole nother topic I need to cover at another time. But you see how he shifted who's paying him.
Right.
From a $2 book to a $197 sales funnel course, his full training is $3,000 a month. That's what he's trying to upsell me into. I know because I've had conversations with him already. Right? But he's built the business around that book.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? But go ahead and finish your question.
No, that makes complete sense. I think, like, when do you have enough content to start that funnel?
Yep, right now. Let me tell you why. When you write the book,
Mhm.
the book is actually not even the first step. Is it longer to read a book? Does it take longer to read a book than it does to listen to a 30-minute speech?
Yes.
Yeah. So the first part of the funnel is actually a YouTube video or a 30-minute speech or keynote, right? But because you only got 30 minutes on the stage or 45 minutes on the stage, you offer them, hey, here's my speaker QR to get a copy of the book where I go into all the details and I show you all the graphs and give you the worksheets and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, I go speak at the association for free and I offer them the book for $19 because I printed them off myself like Lethea talked about for $2 and I took a box with me.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Complete sense. Yep.
So now I may only sell 20 books at the thing, but I sold them for $20 a piece. So I actually got paid $400 for that speaking gig. But I changed who was going to pay me.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But hold on, wait. So that's the first part. But what's another modality? What's another way that I can have someone experience that book?
Audiobook.
Audiobook. So now I record the audiobook and I say, get this, and here's the link if you want to buy the audiobook so you can listen to it. Another $19. Now, some people going to take it, some people not.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
But what's the easiest way to record an audiobook? Record the video at the same time on Zoom. Now you just created the course.
That works.
So now I went from a free speech to a $10 book or whatever to a $10 extra audiobook sale to a $100 course download or a course that may get you into a $100 a month community where we go into details and we do things like this that may lead to doing coaching. You want to give you our funnel? Our funnel is this. Do daily meetings. Give away all the stuff that everybody else charges y'all for. Give it to you for free because I know I'm better than them. How do I know I'm better than them? Because I taught them. They're my clients. Your coaches are my clients. Ask them. Ask them. They will tell you. If they don't, I'll show you. Your coaches are our clients. So I can give you all of that stuff for free because that gets you into our software.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start using our software and you get booked, guess what you do? You buy more pitches in our software. once you get so big where you're like, man, I don't have time to do this. I think I want to hire a staff person like Bart did now that he's so busy, but I don't really want to hire him. Can y'all do it? Then we got it done for you, Simon. We do it for you. You see what I mean? But I had to change where I got paid. Because I know the courses don't get nobody booked. They got to have a tool. They got to have access to the data. So we just shifted where the paywall comes in.
Right.
Is this, Carter, is this making sense, or am I?
Yeah, yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm planning out my funnel as you're speaking. So like, if I'm ever just looking, and the camera's over here, so like,
Yeah, no, you're good.
But yeah, so I'm planning out my funnel. I'm planning out
But-
how can I use my content and
Well, let me
stuff.
tell you here, don't worry about a funnel. Figure out your product mix. What is your products? If you don't have a set of products, the funnel don't matter. Because you can move the products around in the funnel to make them work in different places.
Right, right. So yeah, so personally, I'm starting to get my content together by leveraging lunch and learns and having different, because we have in Cincinnati, we have a lot of different companies and a lot of executives in the area. So I'm leveraging that community to provide lunch and learns that I can upload my content and get the YouTube videos and get kind of like the workshop slide deck for my website, and like offer those free offerings, kind of like what you were alluding to as like give them something to drink when they come in the door type of deal.
Man, look,
Like
let
that
me
type.
I'm gonna give you the game, man. I'm gonna show you what I used to do. I'm gonna give you the game right here. Watch this. I'm gonna come into LinkedIn, and who you work with? What's your ideal customer?
Corporate managers that are struggling with generational gaps.
Okay, and what? And they're hiring or what? Which?
Retention.
Okay, so, and what department?
All.
Okay, well, I think you got to get a little bit more clear on that. So I'll kind of take it from there, right? So I'm going to go sales managers, right?
Or you could do engineering or any technicals or whatever.
Okay, but let's just do sales managers right now,
Okay.
right? So then I come there, and then I come in, and I'm gonna type in sales manager, and then I'm gonna type in Omega. Actually, I'm gonna type in Alpha Phi Alpha. What I put.
Oh, that hurts. That
Right.
hurts.
Hey man, somebody, you got to go first when you're first, right? So I type in Alpha Phi Alpha. I look on here, and I see Marco is probably one of my frat brothers, and some of these other folks, right? But I'm gonna look through and see Derek is probably a frat brother of mine. And I'm gonna just look through these groups, and I'm gonna find the people that I have an affinity with that I can just reach out to. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, why is that important? Even if I put on here past company or current company, but you want to find somebody that can just get you in the door. So lean on the shield, bro. Lean on that Omega Psi Phi and find every manager, join every Omega group, right? And find every manager and just meet with them and start making your YouTube videos and just send them a thing. Hey, bro, I saw you were such and such. I don't know if I can be a help to you, but I pledge fall, whatever. Here's the video I made on retention. You can get anywhere with that.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like they're not gonna pull on you. So now you start to get in. So for women, it may be your sorority. It may be, we had a young lady, she's one of our best clients, Pamela Ellis. Pam was there's this thing called, what's the people? Jack and Jill. She's a Jack and Jill mom, right? Her kids were in Jack and Jill. It's kind of like a kids fraternity, right? And I said, Pam, what are you trying to do? She was like, well, I help kids to raise scholarships. I'm like, what are you a part of? She was like, I was a part of Jack and Jill. Cool, we can reach out to them. We reached out to every Jack and Jill president. She set like 80 meetings with chapters to go in and talk about scholarships. But if she didn't know about that affinity that she was already a part of, she was wasting it. So then, you know what I said? Hey, who's just like Jack and Jill? She said, Girl Scouts. Cool. We hit the Girl Scouts. Who's just like Girl Scouts? National Charity League. Boom. We hit every chapter of National Charity League. Why? Because she said, hey, we're a part of Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill is similar to Girl Scouts. Hey, we help Girl Scouts. Girl Scouts is similar to the National Charity League. Boom, 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 boom. Now she's speaking everywhere. And then she called and she says, Ron, can you help me hire an assistant? Because you got me too many meetings. So we got to use the tools that are in our hands. Now, I know some of y'all probably think, well, why is he focused on that? Because that's really what it is. Look in your own phone first for the opportunities and people that can promote you. Eric, if you haven't looked up the AKA on LinkedIn and reached out to every manager, you're crazy.
You're not wrong.
Right? When I was a poor college student trying to sell investments, I called everybody I could find that was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, just so I could practice. Even if they told me no, I knew that they would tell me the truth. Man, you need to get a better suit. That old cheap suit you got on, cool, bro. I would have got a better suit. Man, those shoes terrible, man. You got to get some better shoes. You're gonna be selling to people like me. Cool, I wouldn't fix my shoes. They didn't tell me that to poop on me. They were there to help me. They have a network of people that can help you get intros to corporate, to get intros. Ask your cousin, somebody. They got an intro to somebody that can get you in. Sheila, nice to see you. I see you down in the corner. You want to introduce yourself?
I'll turn my mic off. Yes. My name is Sheila Glazov. I live in the suburbs of Chicago. I've been an educator all my life. And then that turned into speaking, of course, teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an author. Right now I'm working on the revisions of my original book that sold almost 40,000 copies of my book called What Color Is Your Brain?
Incredible. High five to
Thank you.
Sheila.
Well,
40,000. That's more than that can fit in the Chicago United Center. You
well,
can fill that up twice with everybody that bought your book. That is incredible.
it's an easy way to understand personality types, and it works for children and adults. There's a children's book to this. It's being made into a 4th musical, which is really wonderful for me to watch the children discover their own praiseworthy gifts and what's remarkable about them. It's great to watch the adults do this, but when you see a child discover what's remarkable about themselves, and not from their parents or their teachers, but it's an inside job, self-esteem. And that's what's to me, the best part, just the best part. So for me, being an author and a speaker, but first I look at myself as an educator, and that's where I'm the most comfortable. And I just saw your announcement today, and I said, okay, I'm going to stop revising for a few minutes because that's very exhausting to do it. I mean, I'm glad to do it because I see things in this book that was written almost 20 years ago to now. And one of the things was we should learn from is in the original book, when it talks about the 4 different brain colors, the stem of each quadrant of each personality type was done, the publisher did, in capitals. Now, if you do something in capitals, you're screaming at people, which no one even realized almost 20 years ago. I said, oh my gosh, I don't want to be screaming at people. I didn't scream at my children. I didn't scream at my grandchildren. Why would I be screaming at people who read my book? So things like that, it's so interesting. Look back and see what works better, whether it be our presentations to clients or revising a book or a post or whatever. We can always make it better and look at it from another perspective. And so that's what I do, and I love doing it.
No, that's incredible. Did you say they turned your book into a play?
Yes, the children's book is being turned into a 4th musical.
How incredible is that? That's what I'm talking about, guys. You see how she has the same information, but being distributed in a different modality.
Well,
right?
when you live this long, I'm going to be 80 on Sunday and share
Holy crap.
with my
Super
16-year-old
happy birthday
son. Thank you. So when you live this long, you have those experiences and you have those connections. So when you're younger, and I look at the beautiful people on this screen and they're younger, I'm always the oldest person in the room, but that's okay because I love working. But if we
You
can,
look amazing. Let me just stop there. You look amazing.
thank,
80, hello, somebody. Like, I pray to live as long. You look beautiful.
thank you. Well, I'll tell you what it is I am a family of redheads, and redheads stay away from the sun because otherwise you burn up. And also we have a mutated gene. They've just discovered a mutated gene, MC1R, that makes us really different than other people. And that makes a difference. And I think it makes a difference when you have a loving home and family to support you in what you're doing, that surround yourself by people who will support you and encourage you no matter how old you are. And that really makes a difference. And sometimes you have to say, as I say to my clients, you have to make a healthy decision. So if you see it is not working for you, all you have to do to say to someone is say, thank you very much. But that is not a healthy decision for me. And that's important because people, the blue brain people who don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, who want to have the wonderful, compassionate relationship where everybody communicates, sort of, they don't ever want to have a disruption. I always say my mother always did peace at any price, and then she paid a huge price. So if you can say it's not a healthy decision for me, I always say that in my workshops and my books, and it does make it easier for people because they don't know how to answer that, Roy and Erica. It's like, what did you say? And I say to them, it does work for me because it's not healthy for me. Wow, I never thought about
It's big, big boundary too. I love it.
Right. And so that's what we learn from one another. And I think, not to exclude you and the other men, Roy, but we women are much better at networking and nurturing and mentoring other people. My husband, who I've known for 60 years, I've been married to him for almost 60 years, that he's wonderful, but he's green and he's an attorney and he thinks logically. And I said to him, Jordy, you need to network. Well, I feel like I'm imposing on people. I said, no, you're just telling them about how you can help them. Well, help is not a word that the green brain people use. They don't help people. They solve their problems. And the yellow people look at it as if everything has to be right, because in the logo of my book, there's a little right angle for the yellow people because we know them. You know the client who always has to be right, no matter what you tell them. And they hired you for your knowledge. And they just,
Oh gosh, it should be everywhere.
right.
Amazing.
And
I want
then,
your book.
then you've got the orange brain people. They're the fun-loving, risk-taking entrepreneurs. I mean, as speakers, you've got to have some orange to be out there and be willing to put yourself out there. Some people, the worst thing you could ever do, worse than dying, is speaking to people. Oh my gosh, how do you do that? I just say, well, it's just teaching, just a different way of teaching. So you're a rainbow, you're all of those brain colors, and then you can change them depending on the situation, purposely, consciously, to help you really have more. Well, we need the calm now. We need to be calm. We need to share that with people and to share our praiseworthy gifts with one another and to support one another is so important. And people my age need to support all of you, because what are we leaving you? We have to do that for you. I think that's our responsibility. And I think there are men who do it really well. My college roommate's husband is like a brother to me. And John is an amazing attorney, green, but he's a great networker. And sometimes people just have a hard time with the word networking. It's just making those connections, right, Eric? I see your head. It's making those connections, and sometimes they last a lifetime. Sometimes they're only because they're a client at the time. But then you never know when those clients come back. I just had a client a few weeks ago, and he was working for a government department in a different suburb, and he called for a program for his staff. 10 years later, he still remembered he was a yellow brainer. So people hold on to this and it helps them. So that makes me happy. So now you've had a workshop that you never even asked for, right?
Look, we are grateful. I just bought the book.
Oh,
So based on the free talk that you just gave, as we were just talking about, you gave a free talk that helped us to better understand what you did. I know thank you, Ron. I just bought, this is my Amazon page. You just sold the book to me, right? I'm sure other people will see this and go and buy the book. This is the funnel we were talking about, Cardis.
and that, and also telling you about this was to educate you, Ron. It was not about having you buy the book. I'm happy that you did, but for me as the educator, you have to remember, even though you may not be quote unquote an educator by education, you still are educating people. Mm-hmm. You have something to offer them to make their lives better. And so thank you for doing that. And would you please leave a review when you're done?
100%.
Yeah, but you need to just think about yourself as an educator. Mm-hmm. I had a hard time with the Speakers Association that I had belonged to because the people just got up and talked about themselves. They didn't tell you how they could help you or other people. And it's fine that they did that, but as an educator, for me, that if I just stood up in front of my children in third grade and told them who I was, no, I needed to help them. And I think in this world today, we need to help each other. We really need to wrap our arms around each other and say, I'm there for you. I can help you. And I think we need more of that. And, you know.
No, that's a big deal. No, this is like serendipitous because we're talking about books and then we get someone that comes up that sold 40,000 books.
I didn't know that. So I'll tell you a great word. In Yiddish, in Jewish, we call it beshert. When things happen like this, it's meant to be. And I have a very dear friend who always talks about the beshert factor. So I think if you come from a place of education, of wanting to help and educate people, it just happens to you, Ron. It's there.
No, that's great. Beshert. I think I've heard the antonym bullshit. Oh, so right. Beshert is the good thing, and there's bullshit on the other side. This is perfect.
Yeah, beshert. It's the beshert. It's the beshert. It's not hard to say. Sometimes we have words that really come from the back of your throat because Yiddish is part German, and so it's a little hard to get that out. But it's an easy word, and the beshert factor, I think, it works in all our lives, doesn't it?
I mean, you're a great example of it. So let me kind of bring you up to speed of what we were talking about.
Thank you. So, oh my gosh, I took all this time from you.
No, this is great. This was perfect. This was the beshert that we needed, right?
Not shirt, shared. It's
beshert. Shared.
Good.
Gotcha. Okay. So I was talking with Cardis and everyone else about how do they use their books and other modalities of their intellectual property to get it out to other people. And Cardis asked, well, if I'm going to sell a book, how do I, let people know about it? And I said, well, the book isn't the first introduction. There's a little speech ahead of time where you teach people different things. And when they want to learn more about what you've taught, they go and buy your book. And then if they want to learn more about that, they buy a workshop. And if they want to learn more about that, they bring you in for private consulting or something like that. And you cover all of that in your 10 minutes.
And what you do is something we say in education is anticipatory set. You set it up for people to anticipate what they're going to learn and be excited about what they're going to learn So you just give them little clues, but the anticipatory set has to come first because you want to engage them in the process. So they know it's something that's going to help them. And you're talking to them like you and I are looking at each other.
Mhm.
In the eye, please
Mhm.
look at them in the eye. It's really horrible when they're all over the place, but look them in the eye so you can tell them sincerely what you're going to do to help them. And people just want you to listen to them. That's all. I wrote that in my blog yesterday about listening. But if you could just do that anticipatory set, they'll listen to you and then they'll find out how you can help them. And they become clients sometimes forever. Sometimes it's only for a little bit. But then sometimes they come back 10 years later and they're still using what you taught them. And that's what you want to do. You want to imprint on them. So before I stop, I just have to tell you something I just wrote about in my revisions. When you're talking and having an issue, sometimes we get very upset. So my college roommate's mother cut this poem out of The Plain Dealer in Cleveland, and it's about wet paint. So instead of people saying, well, Sheila, why aren't you talking? You do it for a living. You need to tell us. Sometimes you just don't, I don't feel like talking, especially the blue people. When we don't feel good, we don't want to talk. You just say, I'm wet paint. Give me time to dry. Leave me alone for a little bit. Just let me be. And then we can talk about it. I'm wet paint. You don't have to go into a whole explanation of what's bothering you, because sometimes you really don't even know what's bothering you. There's so much going on in the world. We have a hard time. But if you just say I'm wet paint, it gives you time to process your brain color, where you come from, to be able to see, oh, it was really my green. I was really struggling with the technology. That's what it is. It's not you. So I'm just wet paint. I love giving that to people because it makes your life so much easier. So you can go on my website. There's 11 different quizzes. Thank you for buying the book, Ron. You could buy the book, take the quizzes, and it's so fun, so much fun, and it's so easy. And I like giving people something that's easy because our lives are very complicated.
No, this is a gem. I don't even know what to say after that. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let this be. I'm gonna drop the mic.
It's my pleasure. It is my really. It's my pleasure. It's not a job. It's a calling. When you teach, it's a calling, and it's wonderful to be able to still do it and still have clients and still write my books. And I am a very blessed woman, and I'm very, very grateful. And now I'm so grateful that I found you.
We're glad to have you. You're always welcome back at any time to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We, number one,
We need this wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, I'm 46 and I'd be like, man, I'm tired. And she's like still going. I'm like,
because there's every stage, Ron. There are parts you get really tired, but then other things that excite you. And so people your age, you're younger than my children. So that excites me to have all of you in my life and look at your beautiful faces and know what you're doing. It's so exciting because sadly people my age are playing golf and bridge, and that's fine, but it doesn't work for me. So I love being able to interact with all of you because then you teach me. That's the best part. When your students teach you, when your clients teach you, that's really exciting, right?
this is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Sheila, thank you so much. I definitely will be going through your book and leaving a review. Any questions from Sheila? I have another 45 minutes. So I know we're going into
take up all your time.
No. Wait a minute. No, 1 second. So we're in overtime. We usually go from 12 until 1, and then from 1, I stay until my next meeting. So if anybody has any questions for Sheila, if she's willing to answer them about how she sold 40,000 books about why she uses quizzes, why she does small introductory expectation setting talks like this to build up anticipation to close a deal, right? I mean, she was textbook about what we teach. She came in, she mentioned her book, someone went and bought it live, me, because I wanted to learn more about my
In
I don't
colors.
know. I think my brain is black. I don't even know if it has red or blue in there. It's dead sometimes.
All of us, Ron.
It's
All of us.
probably
Right.
swirled up like a paint swirl,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So I got to figure out what's going on in my head. I'm like, I need this.
And everybody who's on my website, you can email me from there. I'm always happy to help people because I could not be where I am if people have not helped me. So my feeling is, right, we all just pass it on because someone gave us a gift. We share the gift with other people.
No, it's a big deal.
That's
So
the blessing.
any questions? And then I want to get to Michelle. I saw she had a question, and then Jadika had a question or comment. This was
I feel
way
like she gave
more
us a
better than
sermon
expected.
and right, and I got
Yeah,
nothing else to say. It's like, where's the benediction? Dun, dun, dun.
I've done that. I did that with a synagogue in New Jersey, and I spent the whole weekend as an author in resident with them. And on Friday night for Shabbat, I actually did give the sermon. And I thought, wow, what a blessing that was to thank the rabbi. And then I was the person giving the sermon. And it's just,
Wow.
yeah, it's just beautiful. And it was a wonderful experience. And to spend the whole weekend with them, doing a workshop 2 days with them was just
So
beautiful.
you're open to retreat. So Ron, you need to have the leadership, the speaker retreat, and then Sheila is going to be part of that. Thank you. Like,
whatever, we all just learn from each other, Erica. What I really, like I said, I love learning it from all of you because you have different experiences than I do. So you enrich my life, and I hope that I enrich yours. And if we come from that space, and I think that the men can do it, the men just have a harder time doing it. For the women, it seems like it just comes naturally to us. But then there are men who are wonderful networkers and wonderful sharing, and they do a beautiful job. And that's just lovely to see. That's what we need. And I'm sorry to be political, but we surely need this in our country right now.
Yeah. It's a tough time. It's a tough time around the world. I live in South America, and there's a lot of crazy things happening. But guess what? Positivity always wins. So keep your head up. Keep going. We've survived worse, in my mind, is what I always say. And we were given a blessing.
And you know that because your people have experienced that, and my people have experienced that.
Yep.
And
100%.
you want to say, when a doctor operates on you, he just looks inside of you. He doesn't ask what your religion is. He doesn't know your race, doesn't know your education. He just wants to heal you. And that's what we really need right now. And this kind of sharing, I think, is what we do for one another.
It's incredible.
There's a Hebrew expression that is called tikkun olam, which means to heal the world. And as speakers, that's what you do. You reach out to people and you're able to help them.
No,
you gotta stop, Sheila. Like, I feel just so filled. Like, I like next level. It's everything that I need. I'm having a very hard day. My little one is sick, super feverish, like laid out here on the side, and I'm just feeling all types of things, just trying to keep my PTSD at bay. She wasn't expected to survive birth. She's 7 now, but she's a cardiac patient too. So it is just really, I needed this today.
Here's the perfect book for her. She's 7.
Yes.
And
I'm going to email you.
It's it's about a princess, but she doesn't get lost in the woods by her parents. She is a very strong young woman, little girl, young woman, and how she gets all the villages, the brain colors, to tear down their walls, because we know people put up these walls physically and emotionally. And then she teaches them to see their own praiseworthy gifts, their attributes and abilities, and they tear down their walls and they build a path to the next village. And then the whole kingdom becomes that kingdom of kindness again, which we want to create in our homes, our schools, our communities, our religious communities, whatever it might be. We need to tear down those walls because we're all the same. You want good health for your child. I had a son who had diabetes, and sadly he died from diabetes and a statin. And I tell people, don't ever let anybody you love take a statin. It's the adverse reactions. So I can tell all of you, the adverse reactions took our son's life. He did not take his life. The adverse reactions did. And they make a lot of money, but only a few people that learn from people who have researched statins. There's a very small amount of people that really need this for their cholesterol, but it makes a lot of money. And it took my beautiful boy's life.
No, sorry to hear that.
We are
Wow.
because it never should have happened. But
Yes.
but I feel like Joshua taps me on the shoulder and says, Mom, you tell them about me. So to honor Joshua's life and his memory, I tell people. People say, how do you talk about it? Well, I cry
You
about
have
it.
to.
I
That's
cry
right.
about my husband. I hold it in, but I think about what a beautiful person he was. And if this can save someone else's life, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I
Amen.
used to give money to JDRF because Joshua was a diabetic, but the JDRF would not put any announcement on their webpage to warn people. I said, you don't have to tell them not to take it. Just warn them so they know. And they would not. I said, if you would not warn the people, then Joshua would say to me, Mom, don't give them money from your books any longer. And so I stopped. They were very angry. I said, why are you angry? All you had to do is put this on the website to help your members. And it's all about money. And I just felt, nope, can't do that anymore. And that's what we have to stand up for and say, you know what? This is not right. I met a person who had a patch on. And I said, I see you're wearing a patch. She said, oh, yes, it's my glucose meter. I said, I know what that is. She said, how do you know? And I told her about our beautiful boy. She said, oh my God, Sheila, I'm 44. And just like Joshua, when I was 40, they prescribed a statin for me. And I have suffered from depression and anxiety 4 years. And I said, I can't tell you to stop, but my friend who's a compounding pharmacist said, people can just stop. And so she said, oh my God. And then I saw her the next week and she said, I have my life back and my family has their mother and their wife.
Wow.
So
So
that's
guys,
how I feel if I tell you about my beautiful boy, even though I have a broken heart.
Yes. Yes.
It will keep you or someone you love from having
Yes.
a broken heart.
no, that's a big deal. We talk about it all the time. One of our big saying is be the leader you needed. Be the person that you needed in the time that you needed them. So that's all of our responsibilities as speakers, as leaders, as thought leaders. We have to be the person that we wish we had.
Amen.
Right? And it's a really huge responsibility. Again, Sheila, I want to thank you for your openness, your willingness to share, your transparency about your pain and different things that you've experienced, but also your mission to want to help people. That's really aligns with what we're doing. If there's anything we could ever do at Speaker Hub to help you, that would be great. Ange, can you add Sheila to the spring Pro Speaker Summit speaker list? We do a summit every 6 months or so. I would love to have you as a presenter at the summit. I think the red, blue brain, if you include my black brain.
You'll get it all, right? You'll get it. You'll get it.
Yeah, that would be great. If you could come teach that would be incredible. I want to be sure I can get to the questions from Jadika and Michelle. And then also we have Alaya Alaya, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm going to
Okay.
sign out, Ron. I'm going to turn my
Okay.
audio on.
And I don't know if Alaya can hear us, but Janika, if you have a question, or I saw your hand was up earlier, and then
Greetings, Ron. My question deals with the SpeakerHub website
okay.
in terms of the association. I have quite a few duplicate groups, and I'd like to know how to delete them because they're in my waiting rather than keep sending to the
Okay.
same person. That's
Okay. Yep. I'll show you how to do that. So if we could, Ange, can you set up? Can you give Janika my calendar? Because it's something we have to manually do, but we'll get those deleted
yes,
for
it
you.
is. And guess what, Ron? I was
What?
on your calendar for yesterday, and I
And
got
what?
stood up.
It wasn't on my calendar.
I
Let
got
me
it was.
look.
I figured something happened. I signed up for the interview
Hold on.
for you for 3 o'clock yesterday.
You know what? Let me show you something. I didn't even
Okay.
realize it. That's my bad. My bad. So on my calendar, it was a conflict with another one, and it was hidden. So I had to open. You know, you
Got
can
you.
make it wider. I had to make it wider to even see it because it was hidden. So that's my bad. I
No
see it right
problem.
here.
Life happens. No problem. Life happens.
Yeah. So, but let's set up another time so we can get that fixed for you for sure. I want to get that.
Got you. And
I want to
because
get
I
that
have some
fixed.
other things I want to talk to you about as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'll tell you, I have some free time today. Let me see. At about 5 p.m. today, I'm free Eastern time. If you have time at that time, Janika.
And do it
Okay.
because of SpeakerHub podcast today.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's a good thing. So, but if you can grab another time on my calendar, Janika, let's get that knocked
Will
out.
do.
All right.
Will do. Thank you, Ron. Mm-hmm.
And Melissa, I see your question here. Yes. Me and the data team met about that today. And we're working on that because we have to do our full data update, right? So I met with, she's gonna kill me.
Andrea?
Andrea, shoot, I got too many people,
Yeah.
too many names to remember.
Okay.
I met with Andrea this morning at 10:30 and we walked through all of our data updates. We're gonna actually, because we're gonna do an entire data update over the weekend, that should be done on Monday. The other issue you was having is resolved. So the other issue with sending under your assistant's name instead of your name, that's live. It's working right now. That
Great.
one's resolved. But we're gonna just do an entire data update instead of just fixing one little thing. That should be live on Monday because it's due anyway, and we've been building more lists. So, but the duplicate should be erased on Monday.
I do have a question about that, Ron. I know as I've been doing searches, will that resolve the issue of the duplicates that I'm finding are I can tell that it's the same contact, but there are slight differences in the description, slight differences in various different things.
So what ends up happening is that if a contact or an association has a winter event, a spring event, a fall event, or a summer event, we may have that person in there 4 times because of 4 different events. And then if those events are on different themes, it'll have a different description, right? That's one case. The second case is where we have 2 emails for the person. So they show up twice because we have 2 emails and we didn't think through, well, what happens if we have a double email? So when we went and we looked at the data set the other day, we saw that there were people at the same association and we may have had their previous work email and their current work email, or their work email and their personal association email. And we have to figure out a way, how do we choose the right email address if we have multiples for one person? So those were the two situations where we ended up with the same person multiple times. It's because they represent multiple conferences.
Right.
or either we have multiple email addresses for them and it ended up as a duplicate.
Got it. Okay, so what in other words, what you're saying is all the various different things that you're looking at hopefully will resolve all of those various different issues.
Yeah, we have a game plan to do that, to resolve those issues. That's why it wasn't fixed immediately, because it
Okay.
requires us to do some refactoring on how we display the names.
Yeah,
Right.
got it. Thanks so much for looking into that and working to fix it.
And no, I mean, this is what we do. Like, you all are in the system, and if there are any issues that you run into, we need to know about it, and we try to get on it right away. So, but we had that meeting this morning with me and Andrea. I also met with Ezekiel, who's the developer that's going to help me to kind of outline the new protocol for how we recommend email addresses. We met on Monday about that after you mentioned it to us.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Michelle, I saw your hand up. I don't know if you had another question.
Yeah, it was a question about LinkedIn and how you got to the sales navigator, if
Yep.
that's under the premium plan or.
Yep, so I'll show you. Yep, really quickly. So in LinkedIn, when you come over, they have this thing that says for business. And then it says, do you want to hire on LinkedIn or sell on LinkedIn or whatever, right? And they will let you upgrade to LinkedIn Premium. But if you click sell on LinkedIn, it's going to bring you over to this page and tell you about Sales Navigator, right? Now, the cool thing about this is that they usually give you 30 days free. I don't think they give us like a referral program. That would be great if they gave me a discount for referring people, but I don't think they do. But Sales Navigator is like $100 a month, right?
Mhm.
And it's just like we built our business SpeakerHub, just like LinkedIn. We kind of copied their ideas. But I think it's $100 a month for Sales Navigator. I'm waiting on it to load up and we'll be able to tell you. But I know I pay $100 a month or something like that. I think at one point it was $150, but they be changing the prices. So
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
So hey, let me show you here.
Yeah.
So they have different ones like core and advanced and all of this stuff. This is the one that we use. We use just the basic core, LinkedIn Sales Navigator core, which is $99 a month, right? But it's free for the first 30 days. And then you can contact them and ask for them to extend your trial. I've done that. And they usually give you 50% off on an extended trial. So they'll give you 2 months at $49 for you to be able to try it out. Yeah, Sales Navigator is a cheat code. If you and Ann and your team, I can show you some of the cool tools that we use in order to maximize Sales Navigator and to maximize what we do with that. So I could kind of recommend some other add-ons that you would use outside of just using the normal Sales Navigator. But we live and die with that thing. I mean, this thing right here is, you know, it is the key to our business. So
Yeah, because that would
hopefully-
definitely be helpful.
Yeah.
Just want to share a quick win. We got booked on a podcast today for Friday, and then we also got a paid speaking engagement. So
wait, don't just gloss over that. What do you mean? We also got a paid speaking engagement. Tell us about it. We want to know.
So since we've been pitching and putting the word out there, we've also been getting a lot of requests that have come in as well. So we did get a request that came in for next month, and we had our prep call with them yesterday, and we were talking about speaking engagements, and so about the fee. And so we had started off at a certain price. We wound up getting down to a lower price, but they said that if we did 2 speaking gigs for them instead of just 1, we'd get the original price. So we're potentially doing 2 speaking gigs for them at our original cost. And yeah, it's a huge win for us.
High freaking five, right? So I think we call that beshirt, when things just line up because you're doing the work.
Like you're
Beshirt.
shared, like you're sharing.
Okay. All right. So I got to work on my, is that Yiddish? Is that what it was? I got to work on my Yiddish. My Spanish is terrible. But any other questions, guys? This has been an exciting day. I mean, you talk about things lining up. We were talking about books, and then we get this super duper superstar author come on and share her book funnel and how she's using it to build her business. And it reaffirms what we talk about, different modalities of your message. She has a book, she does talks, she has a musical for the kids, she's done a different book on the same version for younger adolescents, all of these different ways. She has 18 different tests on her website for you to try it out and to do different things. Actually, I got a quiz I want to share that we just created, that you can, here, you all can be our, we can test it with you guys. Right now it's on this link, but eventually it will be on what we call the SpeakerStatus.com. If you're watching this, if you're not in the group, if you're watching this live, you'll probably go to SpeakerStatus.com if you're watching it after the recording. But if you're live right now, I just put it in the chat. And you can do your quiz to see which level of speaker you are. We would love your feedback. If some people can hop in and try it out for us, it will give us some great feedback on what we need to fix. But we believe that every speaker starts in 1 of 5 positions. You're either exploring, emerging, experienced, expert, or elite. So that scorecard puts you in one of those 5 categories and tells you what your strengths are and what you need to work on to get to the next level, based on the work that we've done with over 1,000 speakers over the last 6 years. So Speaker Status will be the future website, but right now it's the first link. So let me delete that other one out so I don't confuse anybody. It's the first link I just sent you, score.speakerhub.com, and you can take the quiz. We would love to have your feedback. It's all private. We don't share this publicly. The only data that we will share will be the aggregate data of everyone altogether, but we will never share your private scorecard with anyone. All right. Well, guys, thank you. This has been great. Amazing day. Thanks again, Sheila. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help you to get on more stages, more podcasts. We got to get you sharing more of your message. We definitely would love to have you talk at the Pro Speaker Summit in a couple of months. This has been an amazing blessing for us.
Thank you, Ron. Do I just go? I'm just going to go to your website, right? SpeakerHub.com, because I just found you. I mean, you just popped up on my screen. So do I just go to SpeakerHub?
Yep. Let me show you what you can do here.
Besides the score, I'm going to go to quiz, and then.
So if you just go to SpeakerHub.com.
Got it.
Right. And what you can do is you can try us out, right? If you just want to create a profile, you can click on pricing here. And you can create a free speaker page where people can find you. So let me see, Sheila. Right. Let me see if you already have one. And okay, I see you there, but you're on Innovator Healthcare Speakers, but you can create a free profile on SpeakerHub, right? And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you something that when you go ahead and create that profile, and I'm going to upgrade you to a gold profile with us for free, just for the blessing that you shared with us today on the message. So once you go ahead and let me show you what to do again. If you just go to SpeakerHub, where's the page, right? And just click here and do a free one. You see that?
Got it.
If you do that, I will go in and I'll upgrade you to a free speaker page, gold, because we got to get your message in front of more people.
You're lovely and generous, and thank you for your blue kindness and your orange generosity.
I appreciate it.